Our 6-year anniversary show. I'm a Los Angeles comic. I've never been here. We have a mutual friend named Chris Sanders. He said, Pam's really great. You should come here and some tape. And she agreed to put me on her show. I didn't even know it was her 6-year anniversary show, guys. Yeah, that is fucking hospitality. So we're here in this cool little space. I'll just get into it. I've got a weird job. I am actually a fitness instructor. That's the correct response. I'm not the most fit person in this room. I'm looking at you, Iron Maiden shirt. How, you may ask, am I a fitness instructor? Allow me to explain. I work exclusively with the elderly. Retirement communities only, baby. That's what I'm rocking. Let me give you a little window into what my job's like. I finished a class the other day, and there's this woman hanging out in the periphery. That happens a lot. I'm okay with that. But normally they don't interact with me. In this instance, I walk through the class, she's there on the periphery, not participating, but she comes up to me, puts a hand on my shoulder, and says these exact words to me: "My husband and son are dead, and I don't have a reason to live." To which I replied, "Well, I do teach this class weekly." That's a joke, of course. She really said that to me. I did not actually say that to her. As a human being, your response is to try to provide empathy, try to calm that person down. I found that what I said to try to calm her down was, there. Then I told her about the class. I wanted to end strong. I felt like that was a stronger thing to end on, guys. That's not even the craziest thing that happened in that class. More recently, I had a gentleman get up in the middle of the class to leave. That also happens a lot. I'm also fine with that. But, once again, they just need to not talk with me. In this instance, the gentleman gets up at the halfway mark. He's walking out of the class. I happen to be positioned right by the door. As he's passing by me, he says, "Can I ask you a question?" I made the mistake of saying yes. He did not ask me a question, guys. He proceeded to break down in tears. Full-on weeping. Purple and red splotches in the face. This is at the 30-minute mark of a 60-minute fitness class. Some of you guys are probably wondering, how did old Chase deal with this? How did he solve this situation? Guess what? It's extremely depressing. My goal here is to be funny, so that will remain a mystery. You guys just get to wonder. I think about really weird things. That's probably why I'm a comic. I think about how people will look back on this time, like the way we look back on the Roman Empire, like 2,000 years from now. And I think that the internet will be like the Colosseum was for Rome. Because the internet tells us a lot about Romans. It lets us know they're perfectly fine with slavery. They're really into this graphic violence right before their eyes. The internet will provide the future a lot of us. They'll know what we ate, every step of how we cooked it from our goddamn blogs. But they'll get a few things wrong, guys. They're going to think we fucked our step-siblings way more than we really do. They're going to be like, these people were into it. Hundreds of websites dedicated to this and this only. And a strong presence on general sex websites as well. Wait a minute, what did they watch when they got home? They put on Game of Thrones because it was fiction. They took out the word step. Made it regular sibling. 2,000 years, they won't have all the facts. They'll be piecing things together. So they might draw connections between things that aren't really there. I feel like in 2,000 years, people are going to look back on this and say, Donald Trump, that was the first president elected only by votes of people who comment on porn videos. I said first because there will be more. If Donald Trump's election proves anything, it's that that's a constituent that you can get out to vote. Just dangle a little crazy in front of their eyes, and there's 30% of the population that's like, yes, I'm following that. Following the shiny light, yes. Speaking of Donald Trump's America, let's talk about pornography really quick. Because world sucks. We could die in a nuclear explosion tomorrow, but guess what? Pornography's best ever, guys. Whatever you're into, you can find a video. I saw such a great video the other day. Kelly and Jenny, best friends, share a hard cock. Guys, what is not to love about this? Let me point out this video emphasizes friendship and sharing. I have gotten that in my porn and I'm not going back. I did this joke and someone's like, you know, those women were actresses. They're not really best friends. I don't care. I respect the art. I went to film school. These ladies sold it. I'm just saying, I'm not going back to the old days of just, oh, you turn on a video and they're fucking. I had an experience. I wondered how many coffee dates before they decided to share a hard copy. That's an interesting question. I can ponder that for a while, not going back. Pornography actually says a lot about who we are, where we come from. I realized that when I saw that Pornhub had released a map of favorite search terms by state. And for instance, you got Hawaii's favorite search term is Asian, kind of makes sense, close to Asia. California, we're real progressive, we got three-way. Interesting thing though is Alabama. Alabama throws you for a curveball. Alabama's favorite search term on Pornhub is lesbian. And this is coming from the state whose state Supreme Court tried to fight the U.S. Supreme Court on gay marriage, then tried to run that exact judge as a candidate for Senate. And he got a lot of votes. He almost won. So based off of that statistic of how many Alabamans support Roy Moore and his fucked up agenda, you'd think that if you had two women holding hands, wearing, like, let's say, flannel, Doc Martens probably, and they're going down a supermarket in the middle of Birmingham, Alabama, based off of that Supreme Court and that judge who ran for office, there's a lot of people in that supermarket that are going to say, get out of here, go home, take your clothes off, start filming each other, and put it up on the internet so I can masturbate to that later. But no holding hands in the supermarket. That's unacceptable. There are children here. We keep the lesbian stuffer at home, the door's locked. That's Donald Trump's America for you. I actually had a realization about Trump voter. I realized that Donald Trump succeeded because he saw an opportunity and he jumped on it. And that opportunity was get the votes of the people who go to Limp Bizkit concerts. He saw that there was a lot of angry white resentment in exactly that type of person. And guess what? They already elected a red hat, so he just tapped into that. Figured he could jump on board. Mr. Durst already rocked the red hat. I started getting treatment for depression about 10 years ago. I started doing stand-up comedy 3 years ago. I'm not sure I'm depressed anymore. I'm not sure I am. I'm depression adjacent, you know? Like, I know the neighborhood really well. I can tell you where to park. I'm not there yet. Just give gentrification a couple of years. I'll be there. I'll be there soon. But I was like, I get really sad sometimes. And I was walking over here to go to this wonderful show, see some great comics. And there was a guy on the street with a microphone like this, but there's a big sign, something about Jesus. And I was like, I'm from Los Angeles, I know this. I thought I was in like hippie, atheist San Francisco. Like I didn't expect to see the street, preacher here in San Francisco. But the street preachers in San Francisco have a little bit of a different rhetoric than the street preachers in Los Angeles. I'm assuming it's a different rhetoric, it's a different language. It's all in Spanish down there. But this street preacher was a white guy. He looked a little bit like me, and he's calling out. He was saying, life has you confused about what you really want. I've had people come to me and say, I want to be a famous athlete. And then they found Jesus. They realized they didn't need that. I want to be a famous actor, and I found Jesus. I want to be a famous director, and then I found Jesus. And he said, I met people who were like, I want to be a famous stand-up comedian. And I was like, oh, fuck this guy. Fuck this guy. I was about to quit. I was like, man, I'm depressed. I'm sad. I don't know why I'm doing this. I just do a couple shows. My career is not going anywhere. This guy tells me that Jesus is the answer. Fuck this. This is the answer, guys. I would rather be doing this. He's got the same job as me. He just has a worse fucking crowd in a worse fucking location, He's on a goddamn sidewalk. I'm not letting that guy tell me not to be a fucking stand-up comic, am I right? I'll end on this. You guys seem like a really smart crowd. You guys probably watch really cool shows. You guys watch that show, The Handmaid's Tale? Anyone? Anyone? No, you guys can do the show. Okay, we got someone, yes! Handmaid's Tale is a really, really great show. I was watching it with my girlfriend. It's kind of awkward watching it with your girlfriend. You guys haven't seen the show, maybe you've heard of it. There is this thing that happens in every single episode. It's called The Ceremony. It's where I try to get my girlfriend to have sex after watching The Handmaid's Tale. You guys have been great. Have a good night. My name's Bye.